to have your best buyers wanting to buy naturally without coming across as salesy, pushy, and or making all the mistakes that we covered on the last training. I'm going to post one link in here for a second. We covered the most common mistakes that people make, right? So number one is that we don't sell at all, or we're so afraid to sell. But your most profitable buyers are sitting in the room looking to decide whether they move forward with investing more in themselves with you than not doing anything at all. And one of the big paradigm shifts that you just really got to hammer home is that you selling or inviting people into a further opportunity with you is the greatest gift you can ever give them, because that is how you're going to truly transform their life. And this is probably the biggest misconception. Everyone that I audit, their sales presentations, their event plans, their agendas, whatever it might be, the fact of the matter is they don't want to come across as salesy, pushy, or anchored in and ruin that relationship. Okay. We talked a little bit about it in the last training. I'm going to cover a few things in a second. Before we begin, my name's Ed O'Keefe. I have spent over 20 years selling in many different stages, but today specifically, we're going to be talking about how to sell virtually and in person on stage to sell your most profitable offers. Specifically, this is perfect for you if you sell masterminds, coaching clubs, licensing, services of any kind, and SaaS. And I'll go into each one of those. I originally was going to cover the structure as if you were only selling masterminds, but the deeper I went into it and the more I was kind of organizing this for you guys and the more people I've been speaking to, the fact of the matter is that people are looking for people to trust. Buyers are, prospects are. They're walking around right now with problems, and they're looking for somebody that they're going to invest more in so that they can follow. And what I would hope to equip you with over these like 3 videos that I'm creating for you is a series of tools that you could apply that will show you how to elegantly persuade and move your best buyers so that they go from being a prospect to a committed long-term buyer of yours, so that you can truly make a difference in their lives. Now, to use a probably cliche-ish example, the example is somebody comes in for a free fitness class and they haven't worked out in 6 months or 12 months or whatever it might be. And they have an amazing workout, they have an amazing experience, but the trainer at the end of it doesn't invite them back or doesn't invite them to take more classes. And at that moment, the trainer's doing it because they don't want to come across as salesy. And in those belief systems, they're thinking, well, if I just create a lot of value, if I offer a good experience, they're going to just automatically purchase. And there's a very small percentage of the population that have the ability to just do that, by the way. What you're going to find is if you run events, if you run a business, if you do these types of things where your goal is to move people from stranger to buyer or first buyer to get in to pay a lot more money with you. In that example of the person coming in for a fitness class, which is not what we're talking about today, but it's a good example. There was no long-lasting benefit created for that end user. So the person in your audience, okay, to use the correlation, is not going to have long-lasting effect, okay? Which brings us up to, before we go deeper into day 2 of what we covered on day 1, which was your ultimate job is to create a long-lasting experience that's transformational for people. And the biggest mistakes that people make on day 1 is they inundate their audience with so much content and information that they create a tired, overwhelmed audience member who has a to-do list that's so long that there's no way they can make a buying decision the next day. And so what we want to do is we want to relieve that pressure from them, from having to make a hard decision, and actually make it super smooth and easy where they're asking to be into your mastermind coaching club, to jump into your service even before you ever even talk about it. Okay. So I'm not going to go in too big on a recap, but I'm going to share a couple of things that we shared on the last training because they're that important. Number one is your first talk, whether this is day one of a virtual summit or day one of a real in-person summit, is ditch the slides, not totally, not literally, but instead of having like a list of 23 ways to grow your business, or 23 ways to do blank, or 36 ways to do this, or 15 ways to that. What I highly recommend, and I shared a case study of one of my clients, is I just told him, I'm like, look, pick 3 to 5 things you want to talk about. And then I want you to go up there and tell your origin story that reiterates the value and purpose of having their experience of struggle. It's kind of their hero's journey, finding a mentor, finding a model, and then jumping into a mastermind themselves, yourself. And if you don't do that, you're not going to create that relatability and start building out the pathway unconsciously in the minds of your audience. Okay, that's why it's so important to lay that out. If you go right into content, you're just elevating your intelligence level, but you're not building the connection level, which is super important. And you're not laying out the roadmap for your audience to follow. Number 2 on that is, in your first talk, you have to pick out 3 to 4 of your best buying clients to highlight as examples. And it has to feel organically. It could be a little structured, where you have their picture on a slide and you're like, where's Susie James? Susie, okay, Susie, can we get her a microphone? Susie, would you mind telling the story to everybody about how life was before we met and how life is now with your experience of working in with me and my group? Okay, it depends on what you're selling. It could be like, if I'm selling SEO services or some kind of service or SaaS, I would say, what's it like now that you've automated your business, or now that you're getting so many leads? If I'm selling a mastermind, I'd say, okay, what was it like before being on your own, all alone, trying to figure it on your own, and now. And so that's the embedding that, right? And so that's super duper important. And then we talked again about the rest of the layout of day 1. So that's in the previous workshop I did, and the previous video I did. Okay. Number 2 is, there has to be a segue the evening previous to the evening. And this could be done at 2:30 in the afternoon, or this could be on day 2 for a virtual 4 to 5 day event. Hey, a lot of you have been asking about what Susie James is in and what they're in and stuff like that. Okay, that contrast. Hey, tonight we're holding a VIP party only for our platinum members. If you are considering, just so that you guys can experience it without us trying to push you into it or whatever it might be, or actually I wouldn't use pushing into it. I would use a different language pattern. Like I use, just so that we had a lot of these questions. And so we are going to tell you about who's qualified to be in that group and who we're inviting into that group. We only have 15 spots, or we only have 30 spots in it. So we want to make sure that it's the right fit for you, and that you feel like you found the right family, and like you can anchor a lot of the different, what are you trying to get them to feel? So tonight during our VIP party, if you are strongly considering being a part of it and you just want to experience the people, we would like to invite you. We have 15 golden tickets, 20 golden tickets to be a guest tonight at the VIP party, so that you can ask in platinum members what it's like to be a part of platinum. Okay, so that's how you're organically bringing it in. I also tell you about how we naturally do a micro charity, or we do a micro call to action that is not putting money in your pocket as the event owner, but whether it's like, say, if I did a time collapsing talk for you on your behalf, you see how I just embedded that in there? So if I did a time collapsing talk on your behalf, and we had 30 of my books in the back of the room that are absolutely free, we just ask for a donation over the dollar amount of 10 to go to rescuing pets. Okay, we only have 30 of them. There's 300 of you in the room that you can carry them out. Obviously, we'll ship them out to you if you do it. That's the first rush to the back of the room. That's the first opportunity they have of pulling out their credit cards, and they get to experience standing up and going and buying. That removes friction in the room. So I'm going fast through day one, but that you get the idea, right? You get the idea and why that's so important. So I've I've created contrast in the room. These are the winners over here. Raise your hands. Okay, who's wearing the golden badges? Okay, you're gonna go find those people today. Ask them questions about a challenge you may be facing in the room. Okay. One other thing that we do is I was working with a client last week on this. His mastermind comes out to like $98 a day. Okay. And what I told him to do was we need to create, when we call on people to share advice or one trick or one tip, every time we bring the room back into session, one segue strategy that works great for me, works great for people, and will work great for you is you want to embed in the mind that $100 a day, let's say in his market, or $20 a day, maybe for your market, or $50 a day, is not an expensive thing because you're learning so many of these things, right? Or so many strategies that are easily $100 a day. And so one elegant way of doing this is you bring the room back. Okay, you get your MC do this. This is something that I do very organically and naturally. You can do this very easily. It's not hard to do this. It's very good to demonstrate what a mastermind and collaboration looks like in the room. Is, okay, we're coming back. All right, great. Hey, so in a moment, I'm going to be bringing up our next speaker. They're going to be talking about blank, blank, blank. Hooks the room. Before I do that, what I want to do is, how many met some new friends at lunch, right? Raise your hand. How many of you got some new ideas? Raise your hand. Great. So who would like to share one takeaway that you've had so far today or at lunch? And then you just call on them, and then you do it. And then you say, hey, how many, then after they give it, everyone claps, there's a round of applause, yay, whatever it might be. But you're building enthusiasm in the room, collaboration in the room, and you're demonstrating the power of working in a curated group. This is very important to demonstrate. I can't underline this enough. Demonstrate what you want to eventually have them doing. Do it. Okay. Not only are they going to get massive value, they're going to experience it. Like, this is different. This group is different. These people are amazing. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I want to finish this thought. So when you do that, then you say, awesome, thanks, Joe. Let's give it up for Joe. How many would think that's a $100 a day idea? Like, if you actually implemented that, that would put at least $3,000 back into your practice, business, firm, school, whatever it might be. Who's got it? And you're like, you're really 100? Okay, cool, boom. Hey, Joe, here you go, man. Here's $100. Boom, let's give it up for Joe. And I was like, what the heck? Now everyone wants to share. Who else wants to give me a $100 a day idea? You see what just happened there? And now you got people popping off, sharing and giving and trumping each other, right? You can even do a $200 a day idea, right? So you get a couple $1,000 in cash, and that's how you start layering the group. Now, here's what's super powerful. You have an assistant or someone else marking down all the $100 a day ideas. Okay, and we'll review this on day 2. Okay, it builds contrast for the eventual price you're going to be offering the room tomorrow. Okay, brilliant stuff, guys. This is brilliant stuff. So the way you could do that virtually is the same exact strategy. You could bring on a client of yours, a friend of yours, or something, a special expert of yours. You can bring somebody in with a specialized knowledge. So it doesn't always have to be people in the audience. It could be people, like, you manufacture it by bringing in experts. Like, if I wanted somebody to talk about filling the event, I might bring in like Kurt Malley, my buddy, who's one of the best media buyers in the world, and he would share that. And then I might say, hey, if you guys just implemented the $1 a day strategy that Kurt shared, how many would agree that was easily worth, an extra $1,000 a month, $2,000, $3,000, whatever it might be. And you're just getting agreement and buy-in. Okay. And it's all true. Okay. Let me share a secret with you. Okay. It's a big secret, and then I'm going to start day 2. The reason why what I'm talking about right now is the most powerful ways to frame and demonstrate, remember like QVC, or like when they sharpen the knives and they demonstrate it, and they go, oh, look at these knives. And you're like, oh my God, I gotta get them, And with weight loss, they show the before and after photos. And with like, think about it, right? If you're doing a CrossFit or something, like you show people like 6 months ago, now they're not 12 months ago, that contrast in the mind, right? Most seminars, and this is why in the last training I talked about just getting a bunch of like big names on your calendar is not the best move if it's not directly correlated to bringing you more sales. Does that make sense? Because what I want the end audience person to experience at a cellular level is this place is different. Okay, tracking that? This place is different. This group is different. The way he or she leads is different. And you don't do that by shoving information, like following this like boom, 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 boom agenda where they feel like they're just consuming from a fire hose. What ends up happening there is the stress levels go up and you look like every single other event, okay? And the other thing that I do want to share with you is this is a way to organically and naturally build the family culture, the team culture, the whatever culture you want to do. You demonstrate it before you reveal it. It's kind of an accelerated learning strategy. It's a little bit of unconscious training, but it's how people learn best. Okay. And if I'm able to do that, I'm looking at my hands, like if I'm able to do that, I'm able to actually train them better. Number one, so they're getting better results for themselves. I lower the stress levels, which means they're in a higher dopamine level. Day one, they're going to feel pretty high already if they're getting a lot of good quantity of content. It's day two you got to worry about. And we're going to get into day two in a second, where that stress level and the overwhelm level it bogs down their brain from making a good decision for themselves. Okay, so moving forward. One last thing I want to say about day one. I was reviewing an agenda for a friend, I guess you'd call him. The reason I'm kind of rolling my eyes on that is because I felt like I was doing, well, anyhow, it's kind of a silly story. But he had the whole event going to like 9 p.m. at night. I'm not against that, but I kind of am. Like if it was my event, I would never do that. I did that in my early days. What I found is that shoving more stuff down their throats is not the best model. It just isn't. I want to create networking relationships or activities in the evening to get them together. Okay, now we're going to segue on to day two here. Okay, so I don't want a bunch of hyper hungover people that are exhausted on day two because naturally, because you can't control that, right? So bring them to Vegas and let them go wild. This is why I won't hold events in Vegas too, by the way. But naturally, going to day two, there's going to be a high early in the morning. Like the audience is going to be excited. They're going to be ready to roll. And now some fatigue is going to happen. So I'm going to tell you how to handle that. In the afternoon of day two is when we're going to make our opportunity pitch. This is on a 3-day event, even a 4-day event. This is when I would do my first pitch. For most virtual challenges or virtual events, if you're running like a 5-day event, you would start seeding the audience on day two, and then day three is possibly when you make your first invite to get on the waiting list. Okay. But I don't want to go back and forth too much. I want to keep this to the live in-person event, and then I can answer questions or make distinctions for virtual. I think I'm going to do that for sake. Now, when I'm running an intensive, and the link's in the thing in Chicago. Well, we might have a bunch coming up. So if you watch the recording of this, I don't want to taint it. But here's why I'm sharing that. Number one is I'd like to invite you if you're liking what you're hearing so far. Okay, it's number one. So I don't want you to wait to the end of this and then get a big sales pitch from me. It's 2 days, completely reasonable. I'm going to help you with your offer. So it's irresistible. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a moment, about how to actually get them to make a decision today. And then the other thing that I think is super, super important is how do we actually craft your messages prior to your pitch so that it flows very naturally and they want to be in your club, okay? So we're going to outline this agenda in depth for your people, whether you are doing business coaching, whether you're doing the different types of mastermind, or whether or not you're doing like e-commerce, SaaS service. It doesn't really matter what you sell. If you're using the event for a retention event, if you're using the event for an acceleration event, I posted a link in there, but I can tell you where it's at now, guys. It's at offerwingman.com/event mastery. And I'll make a little thing at the end here. So moving on. Thanks for letting me share that with you. Day 2 is a big day. It's a big day. Anyone who runs events knows that like the profit of your entire quarter, your year, might depend on how good of a job you do on day 2. No pressure there. No pressure, right? I see I got I got Anthony on here. What's up, Anthony? Good to see you. Keegan, my daughter's watching on Instagram. Thanks for watching. But it's such a vital thing is when people watch this and they'll be like, this is very optimized for profit and sales and experience. I didn't know. Most people, when I start sharing stuff, go, I didn't know that it's this structured in this planned out. And what I would tell you is that most people don't, okay? I learned what I'm about to share with you from Tim Paulson, was my first mentor. And then I've hired Joe Bauer, James Malachek, multiple times. And I still study the best people in the world now today, like Myron Golden, Eli Wild, Eileen Wilder. Like I'm studying these guys, breaking down film. I come from a sports background. It's very, very important to look at what the best people in the business are doing on stage in order to replicate and duplicate it. And if someone does something amazing, I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to incorporate it where it fits. Does that make sense? And not every personality should be using the same exact strategies. Okay. I was at an event a month ago where the guy just beat up the crowd the whole time. And he's a very successful stage salesperson. That's his MO. That's what he does. He picks on everybody. He makes fun of everybody. He pushes them down. It's a very beat up the crowd pitch, and it works for him. Would never work for me. Would never work for me. It's not my personality. I would never do it. You don't need to do it. And once he cleans up some childhood trauma, maybe he can learn a little more tactful way of not beating up people in order to sell them. I just don't think it's the right model, but it is what it is. So Tim taught me this, and he was like, okay, so on day 2, you have to have a setup talk. And I have set up talks on day 1 and 2 to set up the mastermind. I talked about day 1 a little bit, so I'm not going to talk about that before. But if you don't do like a time collapsing talk, which this is my book, so it's going to come across like I'm selling me to be your pitch person. Don't worry about that, okay? If that is what you end up doing, great. If not, it's okay. I'm going to show you how we did it. Is when I hired Tim, charged me $50,000, had no problem charging me it for the weekend. And Tim's job was to make the audience want to be in a mastermind, okay? And then what he does with my panel is what is really critical for them choosing me. It's very, very well structured. So your first talk on day 2 has to be one of your best speakers. They got to be upbeat, and it's got to be a topic that everyone wants to be in the room for, because I want everybody there on time to experience the full day. Okay? That first person needs to lay out why people are going to fail if they do not have a model to follow and they don't have you as a mentor. And based on everybody I've met here at this event, I've never met a room like this before. The collaboration, the support, and the kindness and grouping and all that, there's not a better place in the universe. Do you guys see what I'm doing there? I'm layering in the belief systems that that grease the wheels for everybody. Like we're confirmation biasing everything we layered yesterday on day 1. Which is so important why we do it on day 1. And we don't shove them with just a bunch of content and we hope they feel good enough to buy. Okay? So the first talk on day 1's got to be a topic they want to hear. It's got to be super energizing. It has to cover personal development, accelerating, goal-crushing results. So this is like where I would put Brian Tracy, right? I put Brian Tracy up here. I put like a Tim Paulson up here. I put a James Malinchak up here. Okay. Because like if I came out and I did my talk like on time collapsing on day one, that would be good too. You could always flip flop that. And I hope you guys can track me a little bit. Like you want to have, this is day one. This is the afternoon. This is day two. This is first thing in the morning. I prefer this to be the first talk. Okay. Because a little bit light, a little bit motivational, or it's a lot motivational. Ed Milet, perfect spot, right? Those are the types of speakers you want on this thing, okay? Now, if you have your MC or your wingman, like if it was me, see, I'm not an MC. I can do MC stuff, but that's not what I do. I help you sell a bunch of stuff. But let's say I was doing it for you. This is how Ed gets done. The MC has to come up and then hit all the points that like, oh my gosh, this was amazing, and hit this, or you do that as the main person who's running the event, okay? That layers that in there. Then talk number two should either be yourself as the event person about scaling, okay? Or it should be 3 of your mastermind members, or it should be, boom, back-to-back mastermind members, 20 minutes each, okay? So I do not want, I love Gary Vee. I make fun of Gary Vee a little bit on these things, but this is not my point. He would agree with me what I'm about to say. Gary Vee talking about social media at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. on your schedule, day 2, when your goal is to get them to join your club, is not the best person to have up there. Oh, he sells tickets. I don't know, man. You'd have to split test that. That's why I'm a big fan of medium-sized events. Small events are also massive, big profits because they're coming there for the right reasons. They want to grow their business, right? And you can turn anybody into a celebrity, guys. Just so you know, you turn anybody into a celebrity, right? I like getting your platinum guys, your best buyers up there at those times. I just really do. I think it moves the needle better for you. It creates more propulsion of them going up to them on the breaks. They have more time to spend them on the breaks. And then after that initial, like say that 10:30 break, then have your big name speaker. Okay, then have your big name speaker. You'll make sure all the partiers are in the room who went out late last night, little slow starters. And then you have your big name speaker. Okay, that's pretty good. It's 10:30. Let's say we go 10:30 to 12. Let's say they're going till 12, and then we have lunch. So if they're going to be a 1-hour keynote, that's where you take a 15-minute break. You come back, and now you got 30 minutes to play with. So this could be your opportunity to speak, or you bring up somebody who's a quick hitter, fast tempo, great stuff, and creating massive value. I do not like crappy speakers on stages. Like, it's just a waste of energy. Like, I get it. You know, you have panels and stuff that are sponsors. I would create just blocks that are sponsor blocks. And you, man, I don't know. I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on this one, but I'm not going to go too in depth on it. I'll do a separate training or something on this one, because I think sponsors could totally slow the momentum if they suck at speaking. Okay. Now you got lunch, they come back, right? So if your plan is to sell, my best sales, I'll tell you what my best sales event was when we had a really good upbeat speaker right after lunch. We then went into 3 of my platinum people right after that, 15 to 20 minutes. This is what we got, go into a break. Then we go into your 8-figure, 7-figure panel after lunch, and then you do your opportunity, and you do your sales pitch, and you go into an extended 20-minute break so they could see if they're qualified, fill out forms, and sign up right then. Okay. If I still have time, like say if I'm going to bring them back from 4 p.m. till 5, like say if they go on, but I do not want to cut my pitch short. Okay. And I'm going to go into some mistakes guys make. I'm going to go backwards, guys. I'm going to go back up till like 2:30. You can bring the room back in for Q&A with, guess what? Your panels, your people. Maybe you have one or two experts up there, like your traffic panel or your AI panel, but they're strategically put up there to deliver good value and to remember why they're there. They're there to help make their own sales, if that's what they're there for, if they're a sponsor. And number two is realize whose stage they are on. That's your stage. So they need to be edifying the host. And this is where like your MC or somebody else talks to them. What are you going to be talking? I'm going to ask you 3 or 4 questions when we get up there. You got to remember, this is the deal, man. We know you paid for this spot, but you're on Susie's stage. Okay. Okay. I totally understand. Yeah. And so pitch your stuff, but make sure we send, you're there for that reason. That's day 2, because man, I'll just tell you, think about this. Let's do some math. I'm going to come back to breaking down how to run the panel, guys. I'm going to come back to how to segue into the transition. So bear with me. These are big topics that you understanding why I'm teaching these the way I am is very important, because then you can engineer and know how to, you can engineer your own best practices and make sure you're making the biggest impact for your audience based on your personal personality when you get this. Does that make sense? So that's how I would do it. The other way to do that is to say, look, here's the deal. The party's tonight. It's now 4:30. We're going to take an extended break. And if you're in Platinum, I will be meeting you on the bus to go to the secret location for our Platinum only party until 5, 6, 7, 5:30 till 7:30, where then we'll meet the rest of the people who are not in Platinum for the big party. Okay, the karaoke party, whatever it might be. And so that's one of our exclusivity things. I like that momentum leaving the end of the day. Okay. As I'm thinking about it, though, I do like getting the pitch earlier, like 2:30 to 3, coming into an extended break, coming back with Q&A with all of your people, because it builds more momentum. Okay. It just builds more opportunity to close, just like you would on an extended webinar, an extended workshop, an extended event. It's what the virtual guys do brilliantly. Eileen, Myron, you guys are the G's on this. They bring people back on Saturday for a VIP party. It is just a disguised sales pitch, guys. And I say that with love. Like, they're creating value, but they're helping people make good decisions on and investing in themselves. So if you guys have questions or comments, please pop them in. I think through my StreamYard, I'm able to see it. If I don't answer it, it's just because I'm not seeing it. I like helping people and like answering questions. Okay. Okay. Here's the deal on this, right? So let's go backwards a little bit, because I know I flew through that pretty quickly. And just for people that are coming up, I know we got new people jumping on all the time. So I'm going to run this a little like an extended infomercial, where if you like what you're hearing and you run events, virtual or in person, or if you'd like to double, triple, quadruple, or even 10x your business with live events or virtual, live meaning virtual or in person, I'm letting you know right now, I have a very strong belief that live events are back stronger than ever before. People with the AI stuff are craving, and I'm not anti-AI, by the way. They're craving relationship with the right people. Does that make sense? Like, I've been at events where I have not seen the excitement I'm seeing in events since 20-something years ago, when I used to run them all the time. Because there was a point where events got fatigued. People were like, oh, he's just going to go to a sales pitch again, and they're going to do this, and I'm in 4 masterminds. People aren't like that anymore, because, guys, you got to remember, like, this generation of people have been out of masterminds for 5 years in person, unless you're like in Florida or a red state. So whatever, I'm not going to go into that. But there's a lot of opportunity to apply your skill set of communication, getting better at communicating virtually or on stage, getting better at influencing people by understanding what problems they really have, and then bringing them all the way to a desired outcome, which helps them the most, right? The biggest misconception, I started this whole training with it, the biggest misconception by far is that if I just create value, they're going to buy. And I don't want to come across as salesy or pushy. Let me let you know on this, right? I have two responses to this. Number one, that's why the best salespeople from stage or virtual events use people like myself to come alongside them and help elegantly pitch for them, whether it's literally the pitch or doing a time collapsing talk or a 1%er talk that embeds the room with, I need to be in Susie's mastermind. You're Susie for this episode, right? I see we got some of my friends here. That's number one. But number two is your ability to ask people very elegantly, hey, would it be okay if you found value from this? These are just closing questions. How many would agree that you found value for the last day and a half? How many would also agree that if you were able to master this, if you're able to put this at the highest level, blah, 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 and become a 3%er, or heck, even a top 20%er, you could just absolutely transform the growth of your business. Would you agree with that? Okay, and you're getting the buy-in. Great. Would it be okay? This is just a permission-based opportunity invite. This is what I recommend for most people who don't want to come across as salesy or pushy. Would it be okay if I tell you about here's another way to do it. A lot of you have been coming up to me asking about platinum the last day and a half. Some of you went to the event last night. How many went to the event last night? How many? Okay, was there anyone you met? And I'd give them the microphone. Who'd you meet? What'd you think? What'd you learn? Boom. That's more, it's third-party social proof of it, right? So there's a lot of ways to transition into a close. But the easiest way that doesn't cause pressure on you or them is to ask for permission. But you're assuming the yes. Would it be okay real quick if I tell you about everything that we've put together? It's unlike anything we've ever done before with our masterminds. I mean, what they've experienced, they're going to experience the best year they've experienced. Hi, Reese Rowe. I see my daughter's watching. Ever before. And would it be okay if I tell you about what we've really cooked together that works right now in this economy, in this market, with these people? How many of you like that? Would it be okay? Good. Boom. All right, cool. Let me start off. Right? And so that's one way of doing it. That's if you're going to pitch it. That's the transition. Just so you guys know that. It's a transition. The content you talked about right before that, I'll get to in a moment. And then when you go into the transition, it's kind of hard to give you the whole thing. What I was going to say there was the last couple of events that I helped people with, they should have had me do the pitch for them. They should have just had me do it. And the reason is, here's a very important reason. That same permission-based transition could have easily been like, how many guys, like you, the event owner, could easily have just said, and stick with me, everybody. If you don't, this part, like I don't want you to do my pitch. Just stick with me because you're going to get this because you may find use of this, whether you do it or someone else does it or you do it for somebody yourself. It would have been very, very easy after the panel, because this is when you do your pitch. You do the panel, you transition into the pitch. It would be very easily for the event owner to come up and be like, man, wasn't that an amazing group of people? Let's give it up for them again. So incredible. How many of you would listen, Joe 10X his business, Susie did 5X. Man, Bob, what you brought up about your personal story, that's so heartwarming. You guys are amazing. So how many of you would agree that this has been a pretty inspiring day and a half? Blah, blah, blah. Like, bring it up, whatever. You're re-enrolling. Great. So we cooked up something really special for you. Really, really special for you. And so I wanted Ed, let's say it's me. I wanted Ed to stay on stage with me because he's really good at just explaining things better, a little bit better than me, but I just want to make sure but I'm going to stay right here and we're going to invite you into what we have cooked up. Is that all right? Now you could just flip it there where it's like, hey, like me talking and going like, hey, this is so incredible, isn't it? Yeah. Hey, Tony. Great. Hey, so Tony asked me just to run you guys through everything that he and the team have cooked up for you for this upcoming year. And then I could just sell it, right? Do the whole framework. Okay. Those are the two different ways to do it. Now, there's some thought, and Dan Kennedy was a master at this. Okay. Where Dan is halfway through his sales pitch before people know what's going on. And he doesn't care at all because that's his shtick. He's like, if I can keep them hanging on and I'm hammering them with it, Dan had a great transition. I'll teach you his transition and then I'll go back up to the panel because the panel sets up the pitch, by the way. Are you guys liking this? Comment in the comments if you feel like you've learned something new. Or if you apply just one of these things, it could be a massive difference at alleviating the pressure on you from selling. Like just comment bingo. Just comment bingo. I don't care what you comment. Bingo sounds like a great thing. But if you're able to do this and you're never feeling pressure to be pushy or salesy and they don't feel pressure from you, now you're going to 20x your sales because now you're going to have no problem pitching more often. Thanks, Tom. Like you're going to have 20 times the amount of opportunities to elegantly communicate why they should be working with you more often. Does that make sense? It's not a so that's how you sell elegantly. Now Dan Kennedy would do this. Dan Kennedy would go through the whole pitch, right? And so he would do something like he would get people like I'm trying to think about how we do with the mastermind. Like what Dan would do is he'd do his whole pitch, and I actually have a course coming out. It's like $27 called Micro Event Profits, where I literally create a video where I'll read off Dan's best sales pitch of all time, and I break down and I unpack every strategy he's using in each one. Because he's one of the best of all time, in my opinion. Ron LeGrand's another one, best of all time from selling from stage. You got guys like Joe Bauer, some of the best, Myron Golden, and all these guys have different frameworks they work through. Okay. Now Myron's another one. I can tell you about a pitch on how Myron does it. I don't know. I might be running out. I don't know. I guess I was saying I'm running out of time. I don't even know where to go, man. We're together. Let's rock this out. As long as I see people up there keeping engaging, we're going to keep working. So if you're ready for me to keep delivering stuff, just comment again. Say, let's roll, Ed. Let's roll, baby. We're talking about one-to-many selling that moves your strangers into your best buyers, okay? So Dan would go down to, he would do his whole talk, right? And then he'd start talking about what people are missing. This is how he transitions. What people are missing, insert the blank. What people are missing is they just don't have the resources they need to get them to where they want to go. And so specifically, you know, we talked about today the 3 M's, the message, the market, the message, and the media. That's Dan's thing, right? His 3 M's. That was his big pitch. Like the three. We walked all through all of them, and I told you about how and he'd recap the whole pitch. He'd be like, I told you about how the carpet cleaner would send out his direct mail, and I told you about how we have, what's up, Success Marketing RX, appreciate you. I think that's Michael. Thank you, Michael. And he would say, hey, so then he would talk about the message, and then we crafted his message, and we changed it to them, and then we changed it to this. And this is all things that I put into my marketing, magnetic marketing blueprint, right? And so once they all had the resources, they were able to get the outcome, okay? And since we're talking about resources, what I want to let you know is that there's a limited amount of resources that I have for you at the back of the table today. And before you stop yourself, then go right into the objections. Before you stop yourselves from saying, I'm not worthy to have these, or I don't know how to do this, or I don't do this. Well, I'm going to tell you, I made this so dummy proof that anyone can do that. Like if you can lick a stamp, because he does this whole, he does this cat licking the stamp. If you can lick a stamp, you can make money with this. If you could send out a 37-cent envelope to your best buyers, you can make money with this. If and he would just go through that, and then he would go right into a sales pitch. And people didn't even know they were sold until they were already sold. And then he would go right into his bonuses. He would go into what's a limited time offer right here. You can buy this on Monday, but guess what? Monday, it's going to be twice the amount. And all these bonuses I just created, and all the bonuses are things they're going to need to eliminate the objections that are in their head. You will not have that, but it's going to be on the site. You can buy it for $1,000 today and only today. Like I'm walking out the door, it's $497 and blah, blah, blah. And he'll throw in a couple more bonuses, right? Now, here's the catch. There's 1,000 of you in the audience today. Guess what? I have 300 bags at the back of the room. So if you purchase, if you're one of the first 300 to purchase, like right now, I see people running back there. Now, you only do that. I see people running back there. I see Bob running back there. I see Joe running back there. That guy asked me a question in the bathroom. Tom, he's running back there. People start standing up and they'll run in the back of the room. That's how the stampede happens. Okay. Some of that is orchestrated and some of those people may have been encouraged to fill out their form and run back there. Okay. Maybe it's your existing clients. Okay. So that's what starts happening. And then you know that, and he'll sell out his whole thing that way. You know, that's how he did it. That's how he was the best speaker. Now there's more to it than that, obviously, but that's one of the ways to do that. Okay. Now, when you hold a mastermind pitch or a re-up pitch, like if you're here for our services, because I know a guy who runs $30 million a year company, he runs events, he uses it as a retention thing. So one of the things that he do, it's a lot of you guys don't re-up for another 3 to 4 months, right? Or he could do. I'm giving, this would be advice I'd give him. A lot of you guys are going to be re-upping in like 3 to 4 months, right? And so what you may or may not know is that we've raised our prices on all your packages. We've already raised the prices. And as you can see, we have 400 people in the room and we have no problem with getting clients. And so with demand, prices go up. Okay. But we love having you here. You came out here, you made this investment. We love being here. Okay. So I got 2 little surprise bonuses for you and an invitation, right? So bonus number 1 is if you like what you experience here, we're going to be hosting, and then you have like this amazing, maybe luxury trip, right? The only people that will be invited to that are people that sign up to be a part of our program today, or people that re-up for another year to extend their contract. And of course, I'm going to sell it better, guys. I'm going to show the pool, the trip, everything we have planned. That's an inner circle event. So I'd have Gary Vee at that. Maybe Gary Vee's going to be there. You know, I've got to give a shout out to Gary Vee since I made fun of him earlier. And so those are different ways to use it based on what you're selling. Does that make sense? I hate doing this, but because I would never want to put pressure on all you guys. Here's the thing. You ready for it? See how I'm having fun with this? Who's having fun? Say, I'm having fun. So I hate to do this, but you guys are smart now. If you've been around me long enough, you know that all offers have to come with a timeline, a deadline, and a bonus, right? And why is that? Who can tell me why that is? Well, because winners make decisions quickly. And number 2 is that if you have to call your wife, your boss, your partner, your whomever to make a decision that's going to benefit your business by 100x, 10x, 20x, this probably isn't right for you, right? But if someone that can make a decision today, we want to reward you because we know that winners make decisions when presented an opportunity. I have a slide for this, by the way. It's from Warren Buffett's partner, Charlie Munger. And it says something to the effect of, that's why I have it on a slide, not in my brain. Something to the effect of, in life, only a few times in life, you're going to be presented with an opportunity that by making the decision, it changes everything from that, something like that. And he was referring to like investing in like certain types of businesses, but I use that and reframe it towards, this is your once in a lifetime opportunity. I then also show another clip that's of Richard Branson, where he says 10 minutes with the right person is more valuable than 10 years searching, something like that. And so I can promise you in this group right here, how many agree that any problem you are facing, there's somebody in this room who has the solution? How many agree with that? And these are all things we also covered on day 1. Like this should not be brand new to them. Okay. And so the stampede, the timeline, we have to craft bonuses that are timely for right now. Like, so whether you're watching this, like as I'm recording it today, there's certain economic factors that are different than what it will be in 3 months, but the principle is going to be the same. So the bonuses that they're going to miss out on have to be one of the most important things they need in order to guarantee success. For a lot of business, it could be like leads, it could be traffic, it could be sales. Like, it's always the same stuff, right? But just, you have to position it for your own thing. Like, if I'm trying to get into a business, then I'll be like, we're going to set you up in the business. We're going to remove all your excuses, put you in business. So when you invest $15,000 into this club, we contrast it to like what it would cost to be in a franchise, or what would it cost to start from scratch? What would it cost failing on your own? So those are all the costs, right? We just contrast them all. You're not selling hard. You're just helping them make a good decision for themselves. Okay. And then you have a price point that expires. You could be really harsh about this and say, hey, listen, if you buy today, it's $25,000. If you buy tomorrow, it's $27,000. If you buy next week, it's $35,000. So listen, I'm not closing the opportunity on you unless you're not one of the first 30 who are in, because we only have spots for 30. So I just use quantity takeaway. I'm just letting you know that you're welcome. You're just welcome at a higher price, and you're not going to get these bonuses. That's a really strong close, everybody. Really strong close. Because here's the thing. I don't want my team chasing people who are telling us they need to think about it. Like, if you got to think about this, I can help you make your decision for you, right? It means either we haven't done a good enough job making it a no-brainer obvious, or you're just not in a place in your life where you want to accelerate the results as fast as you can, right? That might be a little harder for some of you guys to do, but it's not hard if I'm doing it for you. I'm just letting you know that. Because like, if someone else is doing it for you, like, hey, some of you guys told me on the break that you're like committed to making this next step. Well, I'm telling you that Tom and his group put together something that absolutely guarantees your success if you can meet them halfway. And what does halfway look like? Well, you get in the club. You get in your first strategy call. You commit to, if you can't be on the live streams or on live workshops, you commit to watching those and then asking questions when you're stuck, right? Most people complain about not having the solution, but they also sit and don't proactively ask the question when they feel stupid. It's usually because they have their own inadequacy issues. You know, I'm actually selling to their identity right now. They're letting the BS they told themselves about their own inadequacy and about what they're not worthy. Well, I'm just letting you know you're all worthy for getting the result you want, and you're all worthy for asking the question you need a solution to. That's why Tom created this group for you, right? Because listen, man, listen. I'm just letting you know, if you leave here alone and you fall back into lone wolf syndrome or rugged individual syndrome, I don't want to say 1,000% certainty I know you're guaranteed to fail, because that would be unfair to you and to everybody. It'd just be unfair to do it. And I don't want to prophesy over that you. But what I can tell you is that when you get punched in the face for the first problem that you can't solve on your own, what are you going to do? You're going to start looking for more solutions, which means you're back on YouTube. You're going to another event. But so listen, if you realize this is the right place for you, you found the model. There's people in this room that can truly help you because they already paved the way ahead of you. And instead of you being on the backcountry roads of the corn stalks without a GPS, without your maps, without your phones, and you're zigzagging your whole life, while you look over there and you see the highway of life going past you because they have a straight line. They're not smarter than you. They're not more talented than you. They're not any of those things. The only difference is they just chose to get in the fast lane while you're trying to still figure it out. And I'm sorry, that's what people do when they struggle. They try to figure it out on their own, and they make excuses why they can do it on their own. That's a great way to get started. It's a horrible way to take it to the next level. How many agree with me? How many can relate to that? Are there any platinum members in here that have actually literally experienced that problem? That's a great way to boom. I'll bring up an objection, but I've preset somebody up. Like somebody who's just one of the best guys in the room. Like, man, I tried doing it on my own. I came to a couple events. And actually, one of the videos I could put in the comments here is of me running the panel for Ken with the law one. And I went out on a limb and asked this question: how many of you came to events before joining it? And thankfully, gosh, I just trusted my intuition on that, where a guy's like, yeah, I came to 2 of the events and we just went out and did stuff on our own. But this is human nature. This is the fact of life. If you don't have a model and a mentor in a tribe, you're not going to succeed. Like that's just life, right? And so he said that. He's like, oh man, we came here, we tried doing it on your own, we had some success, but man, it wasn't until we joined the mastermind that we had acceleration. And that's what I wanted to hear, and that's what I wanted the audience to hear. Okay. Now, I'm going to talk to you about, is it okay if I go back to talking about the panel, how you run the panel? Because this is actually the setup, guys. This is the setup that makes the pitch super easy. Can you post in the group, just put 8-figure panel or panel? I'm taking my sip of water. So I had tried doing this on my own. Like I saw when Tim Paulson sold, I think it was a couple $1 million for Joe Polish. Tim did the invite. Like it wasn't Joe. Tim did it. And that's then why I hired Tim. Okay. Tim's nowhere to be found on the internet, guys. You can't hire him for this. That's why I'm like, he was my mentor. If he was still in the space, I probably wouldn't be doing wingman stuff. There's a gap in the space. And actually, I kind of believe there's room for everybody because there's so many people to impact. There's so many events going on. When I tried doing it on my own, you're going to see why it's awkward when you're running your own panel. It's not when it's designed to be a testimonial panel. That's where it's awkward. It's not awkward if you're running a panel like during the morning and you're like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about traffic. So I got 3 of my members talking about traffic. I have a guest speaker on. If you like doing that, then do that. Like that's awesome. The other thing that I think is a really good model for you to do if you want to is I've done it where I sat in the back of the room where all the focus is up on them, not me. I've also done it where I've sat at the side of the panel. The only time I think you should do that is if you feel like you want to chime in to really emphasize it. So whoever's running your panel doesn't know where to go deeper with each person. That's the only time you should be doing that. The reason why, here's the reason. The reason why is I'm trying to anchor the front of the room with nothing but love about you, the host of the event and the mastermind leader. If you start jumping in, if you're not fluid with what we're trying to accomplish, you could start bringing things into details that slow the whole freaking thing up. Okay. And you'll understand why when I share the few questions I ask. Okay. So when I have the panel up there, I've seen guys put like 18 people up there. I don't like that. I think it's too long. You can't go in depth and you're not focusing on the 80-20 rule, and you only need 1 or 2 guys to screw up your whole momentum. So 4, perfect. 6, possibly. 4 is perfect. 3 is great. 4 is perfect. And the reason is because I don't want this to last an hour and a half. I want this to be 45 minutes because then it's going to go into a 45-minute pitch. Invite. Okay. The 3 questions that have to be asked are this. Like, okay, who are you? Give us the backstory. What was the life leading up to being a part of the mastermind? Okay. They go through it. And maybe I throw in a 2-part question. No, actually, I would do, I'm just kind of 30 seconds each. Boom. Where you're from, give us your backstory, tell us about your business, who do you serve, and, who you love helping. super fast, boom, 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 boom. And then we're gonna come there and be like, okay, great. Tell me about your life before meeting Tom. I'm just using Tom, it could be Susie, and tell me about it after. Okay. Now, here's what's super cool about this, right? Is now they're going to give you their before and after pitch. So now it's the hero's journey. I like setting them up for what I'm going to ask them and steer them a little bit. Like, hey, Bob, when I go up there, I'm going to ask you about your relationship with what's up, John Barry? Great. Thanks for joining. I'd say, hey, can you share a little bit about what was life like before you met John Barry? And then you came to his first event, his first yoga and meditation boot camp, and what was life after, like being a part of his crowd. And so they at least know where they're going with it. It's super important to understand. And so you're going to get all the details, the struggle, the good, the bad, and ugly, and then after, right? And obviously we're choosing people who are going to have a really strong after, okay? And then that leads us to the next part, which is they go through that. This is going to take 3 minutes per person. So now you're about 12 minutes. I like chiming in with questions when I think it's relevant to keep the thing going along. And you'll see, like when I run these panels, I'll pause. I'll use my hand here. I'll go, oh, that's a great point. And I'll look to the audience and I'll go deeper on it. Do you see how what John talked about there was, when he came to the group, he didn't know this. Open his eyes to it, right? Is that fair to say, John? Yeah, that's fair to say. Okay, cool. And so when you look around, you got to remember, and I'll go into an important principle that's relevant, but it's got to keep going, okay? And I'll tell you about the biggest mistakes here in a second that people make during this time of the day. Remember, we're on day 2, afternoon. Your number one job is energy management so that people are in a buying mood and removing overwhelm and frustration, okay? So we'll go through that a little bit. So first one is, who are you? Backstory. Second one is kind of like a before and after, super positive, super awesome. And the third one is, I would say something like, okay, well, do you mind sharing with the group like one big thing that you've gotten from the group, or 2 or 3 things you've implemented in your business that can make a needle mover for everybody here? Okay. And everyone's going to say like, yeah, so I've gotten this from the group, which means they didn't have the answer before they got the group. So they naturally share a struggle. Like, well, when I started the business, I'm going to take dentistry and law because they're very similar. They have similar constraints. When we were growing our business, we realized the more we marketed, the better we had to do at intake, like taking in phone calls. And when we solved that, it opened up everything. And I learned that from, and they're going to give credit to somebody in the group. Who'd you learn that from? Where'd you learn that? When did you learn that? Those could be prodding questions. Oh, that's really powerful. That's really amazing. That's really awesome that you did that, right? So that's going to go down the thing. Now, if I have time and I feel the energy's good, I may just go right for the jugular. I might just say, look, if you were starting over again and you've been in the group now for many amount of years, like the last panel I ran was an 8-figure panel. What would you share? Because some of these guys are going to have opportunities later today to decide whether they're in platinum or not. Okay. What would you say to them who are hesitating? Like, what would you tell them about their business? This is going to be your best sales pitch in the world right here. They're going to sell for you. They're going to go over the objections. Now, man, if any of these guys, if you even remotely think that any of your panel people are not going to give me that answer, that's why I like meeting with them before I have them on the panel. You don't ask that question. But then again, you don't have them on the panel. I only want true bloods, people that would die for you on that panel. And if you're like Glenn Ledwell, Mastermind Magic Man jumped on, if I was running a panel for Glenn, I would only want people that are like, I would die for Glenn. This group, Speakeasy group, has been the best thing I ever did. I was lost. I was lonely, and this is the only place. So if you're even hesitating for being in that group, you just need to stop what you're doing. I don't care if you got to borrow money from your cousin, uncle, go to the bank, put on the credit card, ask them for installments. You need to be in the group. Like, end of discussion. And it's like, you need that type of person on your stage. And if you have questions about your specific situation, you follow me. I will answer your questions on the next break because I care that much about it. Okay? That's the kind of people you want on your panel. If they're wish-washy, if they're about themselves, if they're arrogant, if they have a secret agenda, because I've dealt with all of it, fellas. Like, I've made every mistake in the book. The first guy who volunteers to be on your panel isn't always your best person because it might be about him or her. I've dealt with that. Hey, I know you're going to do your panel, sell your thing. I'm going to go up there. I'll tell everybody that they should be in your group. Well, hey, listen, Bob, we'll see. Like we have a few like things figured out. I'll let you know, because there's certain guys that sometimes join masterminds or groups that they want to be you. They don't want to be them in the group. And there's an important distinction. What I just shared, by the way, is an important distinction about running groups. There's always going to be some people in your group who they don't really want to be a part of the group because that's below them. They want to be you. So be careful about putting them on your stage because you can taint the room really quickly. Okay. But I won't go into that much further. And then, so that's a series of questions, right? So just to recap that, give us your backstory, a little bit, 30 seconds about who you help, how you help them. We'll get you out of bed. Why are you excited? Number 2 is, what was life like before you met Glenn or John and joined the group? And now what is life like afterwards? Like, just give us your experience, right? And, again, it goes back to we're picking the right people. So we know what the answers are going to be, fellas, And then number 3, what is 1 or 2 or 3 tangible things you could share with the group right now that they can implement in their business that you got from the group or that you discovered while being a part of the group? And what you're going to find here, I'm just letting you know what you're going to find here is this is very tactically framed, but they're going to need more of the group in order to truly implement this over time. Okay? So the panel is designed to be high energy, create massive value for the audience, but build a propulsion into your group. And the 4th question, if you want to ask it, is, listen, at the end of the day, Glenn's going to be offering everybody to be in the group. Okay? Right, guys? You're going to get an invitation here in about 30 minutes. This sets up, by the way, if I do that, it sets up the awkwardness of when we go to the invite. There is none. Right? We're letting them know. So, if you're in their shoes, what would you recommend, not recommend, or no, I'm sorry. If you're in the shoes and they're thinking about being in the group, what would you tell them? And then just step back, let them sell the thing. The last question, my favorite question, learn it from Tim Paulson. This is the ultimate setup question for going into the pitch. The ultimate setup question. This is why, what I'm about to share with you, this is why you can't run your own panel before you go into the pitch. You can, it's just not going to be as effective what I'm about to show you. Are you ready for this? Say, I'm ready. Just give me a little I'm ready in the chat and comments, right? Because I was able to figure out the difference very quickly from what Tim was teaching me versus what I was doing. Because I tried just replicating it. Like my first event, I just ran the panel, put people up there, tried to run it. And it was very average. Like it just does not it does not move the room. When someone else does it and they're trained on these key questions, and then obviously if they're good at facilitating, if the room enjoys them, they got to be selfless in the room. They got to be the promoter of the room and you. They can't be trying to take anything from the room. Here's the question. You guys ready for it? The question is, all right, this has been amazing. Hasn't this been amazing, everybody that's given up for this panel? I got one last question. That was the question. In less than 60 seconds or less, you have to tell a friend who does not know Glenn about the type of person Glenn is. Go. And you're going to hear things like, how do I describe somebody who saved my life? How do I describe somebody who's done this? or like, and it's so heartfelt, and it takes, this is kind of goes back to earlier what I talked about, like it takes you out of being another event, and it just sucks the room into family. And when they get done talking about you, then the wingman, or your panel wingman, we'll call it. If I was running it for you, this is exactly what I would do. I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Glenn Ledwell. And he'd come up, and let's give it up for, and the freaking place would go bonkers right there, because they just fell in love with you. The man of the hour, the person of the hour, the woman of the hour. And that is the segue into the beginning of the sales pitch into your Mastermind coaching club or your invite. That's how you do it. It's freaking amazing when done right. And so you could do a couple things at this point. Say you're the person. At that point, you should have like a slide. That a slideshow should pop up and be like, was this amazing? I mean, whatever. These guys are, I'm so proud of all these people. Everyone says like, I made that. Actually, they're making the group makes the group better, blah, blah, blah. Because it depends where you want to put the emphasis and the anchor. It's all about the anchoring. Okay. And so this is where, I'm trying to sheet of paper here. Like, this is where you could do a couple different things. And you could say, what I like to do is we're going to have something really special. We've planned something super special for you. And like, even like, I'll give you an example. Like, just say like, so right now, would you guys say this has been super valuable? And then we do the re-enrollment, like 3, 4, 5, maybe even get a little, like what was one or good takeaways to bring them back in, bring them all back in. Okay. So what I want to do here is I just want to take a few minutes to walk through a couple of the reasons why I created blank. And if you didn't cover it, or what we're doing to help grow your business. And so that's where I might have my 5 to 10 slides. Okay. And like, I'm trying to like think, you're all different personalities who are watching this, by the way, right? So you could do this in multiple different ways, right? So you could literally, instead of going to slides, you could put 1 or 2 slides up there and have it anchored there while you pull out. My team's going to be pulling out, sending you guys applications for our Platinum Club and our Mastermind. And the reason why we do this right here, right now, is because here's what we know. Okay, is that I'm going to ask you fill it out for me, so that we could find the path that is best to get you 10x your business. Fair? Okay, so let me bring up a slide. So as your team's pulling out, you bring up a slide. Here's what we know about people who succeed. And then we re-anchor like 3 to 4 key elements, right? The lone wolf dies. I love the lone wolf dies because it's just true. The lone wolf dies while the pack survives. Number 1. Number 2, why are the richest man in the world with the second richest man in the world always together? And that's usually, I use like a Warren Buffett with Bill Gates. Now that Bill Gates is like being arrested as a pedophile, maybe we don't use that. I don't know. I'm gonna have to edit this because YouTube's probably gonna be mad about that one. But you see what I mean? Like, you anchor that, and you can use the over what do all these people have in common? Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and like, those are overdone. So if they're overdone, acknowledge it in the room, but the truth stands. Fact is, they all had 3 things in common, right? Michael Jordan looked up to Dr. J. Kobe looked up to Michael Jordan, and they all had what? A mentor. And you throw Phil Jackson there. It's overdone, guys. I know it's overdone, but the fact of the matter is, that's why the mentor, Phil Jackson, didn't play point guard, because the mentor's job is not to be you. The mentor's job is to help them see around the corner. And then I use a PowerPoint slide by Michael Phelps, and it shows Michael Phelps with the water in his goggles. The reason is because, let me tell you a quick story. And this doesn't have to be right here, but what if you told this story on day 1, talk 1, Do you remember the story I told you on day one about Michael Phelps and how his coach purposefully put holes in his goggles during one of his trials before the Olympics, like not to get to the Olympics, so that he had to be prepared to compete under all circumstances, water in the eyes and the goggles. His coach saw around the corner. Lo and behold, in his Olympics, when he's going to break the record, on literally the last one where he's going to break the record, what happens? His goggles fall off and he has to swim the whole thing with water in his eyes. He was prepared for it. So the reason why we do this is so that we help you see around the corner, in that whether or not you're trying to go from 2 million to 5 million or 1 million to 2 million, there's people in the room who are on the path ahead of you, with you, and behind you. So the same way you're following a path that leaves clues, putting you on the highway of life, you also have this is an important, you also have the ability to mentor others that are in the group because you've gone further, or maybe you know something that's just distinct. And what I found is, by coaching athletes, being around people, is that when I teach and mentor and collaborate, I learn it at a neurological level much faster. It opens my eyes to see things that weren't there before. Can you guys all relate to this, by the way? Like, this is a true thing. Like my son is a pretty good golfer, golfs collegiately. But one of the things I like him doing is reading books. Why? Because reading books allows his neurology to see things differently. Reading is different than seeing. But also, I want him teaching. Why? Because if he has to articulate what he's learning, he's able to then know it better, which allows him to explore what he doesn't know, which opens up his filters. It creates wisdom. So these are all things that, like, these are all things, no one, you're going to have the whole room nodding their heads, right? And so then we go through like the opportunity there. Now, there's a few other things I would probably have there. So with your permission, would it be okay for you to go through everything that's on the sheet there? Now, I'm going to ask a really simple thing. I'm going to ask you to pick up your pen, and I'm going to have you fill out your name on the paper. I want you to fill out your phone number, and you're going to put your email there. Whether or not you're 100% decided or not, I'd ask you to do that, because we're going to fill this out as a group together. And we're going to go through what's in this. That's a power move. And what I challenge you with is it can be done elegantly and not forcefully. And it breaks inertia in the room. Now, here's an advanced tip. Do you want to know the advanced tip? What's the advanced tip, Ed? The advanced tip is you have existing clients filling out the form, getting their wallet out of their pocket, getting the credit card on the table, and filling it out. Now, you could either ask, like if I had Glenn in my room, John, Tom, I got Kyle Bell, I got Mike on the, like, whether you guys dropped off or not, I guess Anthony. What I would do is I would just tell these guys, hey, look, tomorrow night, guys, listen, like tomorrow, I'm going to be doing an opportunity. This might be at my VIP party the night before. I'm saying, look, like, what I'd ask is, if you are planning on being in this group again, I have a special bonus for you. It's going to be unannounced. And here's what it is. Here's the ask. Okay. I'm going to take you behind the curtain. Who would like to see behind the curtain of running a business and being a person of influence? When I start asking people to fill out the form and to follow along, I want you to lead from the front. Pull out your credit cards, write it out. If you're not re-upping, I'm cool with that too. But here's the reality. If you're re-upping, this is the one ask I have, and I have an unannounced bonus or a special bonus that I'm going to give to anybody who is the first 10 to hand in the form. Okay? So this will go, I got to go a little more depth on the pitch. Are you guys liking this advanced? This is pretty advanced training, guys. I mean, this is stuff I spent $50,000 for one time, and then I spent, $25K with Joel, $20K with James multiple times because I already have the structure now. I would just bring them in. I even had a couple like micro celebrities, guys that were good on stage, run my panels for me, but they were micro celebrities. It's a good thing to negotiate too, by the way. You go find a C-level celebrity that your audience knows, that everyone likes, who's super friendly, who's super awesome. You pay them a lower rate. They run a panel for you. Costs you 15 grand instead of 50 grand. And that's how you do it. I mean, it's an advanced tip. I just saved you guys like $40,000. Once they start filling out your form, right? You're going to start walking through what they get. What I would ask you to do is, if you're doing this pitch, please practice. This is what it's going to be included. We're going to do 3 trips, 2 trips. It's all going to be virtual, whatever you might do. I have people that are clients that sell SaaS and services. They don't do masterminds, right? And so what I would do for them is, like, with the transition of AI and how things are being changed, blah blah blah. You're going to get the XYZ package. Now, here's what that means, and you got to go right to the benefits. Okay. And Jason Fladlin, brilliant guy, one of the best. Literally, people ask me all the time, like, Ed, can we hire you to help with our webinar? Short answer is yes. But if they're like, well, we're thinking of you or Jason Fladlin, I'm like, dude, go spend the money with Jason Fladlin first. Like, if you got the budget, you were supposed to spend a couple $100 grand for the best of the best. He's the best. There's nobody better than that. There's nobody better than him. Go hire him. Huge fan of Jason Fladlin. I have a couple of his books around here. If Chet Holmes was still alive, and Chet Holmes came in and was like, hey, you can go spend $1 million in Chet Holmes, go hire him. But I will tell you this, man. They're all going to tell you this. And Kennedy, all these guys. What you're offering, your offer should only take you 3 to 7 minutes max. And then you have your bonuses, and then you start going through your objections, and you're layering bonuses. And the reason I say that is because what's going to happen, I have a blank sheet of paper here, I got a full sheet of paper here. As they're filling it out, I'm going to have an offer for the first 10 who submit their form, an offer that expires after the first 30 submit their form, and an offer for the first 50. Now, I'd have to sit with you to work out what that would be. And I'm going to tell you right now the questions I would ask. So I'm not leaving you guys hanging, okay? But what's going to happen there is you're going to get people standing up and flying back to the fucking room. Just flying back to the room. It's going to be like on anything. And once you see them stand up and go, you acknowledge it. You stop what you're talking about and you say, I see Joe going. I see Susie going. I see Ben going. All right, let me talk faster so that you guys can get out there. Like, will you have a couple people that are butthurt sitting in the stands being like, well, I want to hear the whole thing. And we'll handle that. I'll talk to you about how to handle that. Is this good stuff, guys? This is good stuff. I haven't taught this as in-depth as I'm teaching it right now in a while. And I'm remembering more stuff as we're going on, right? Now, I already spoke about this, but what I want to share with you is you have pricing that expires as well. And I just want to quick little infomercial pitch. On this page, if you want to come to one of my 2-day intensives that we're running, offerwingman.com/event mastery. I have another domain that I'm forgetting what the name of the full URL is going to be. It's going to be something with like profits in it, and it'd be just an easy link. So I don't send people hyperlinks and stuff like that. But we'll be hosting it. We'll go in depth. We'll get your specific offer, get your specific message, get your specific event structure. And I just want to let you know too, is if you don't have a big audience and you're like, Ed, I'm just starting this out, start with events like I'm running right now. Like I think right now on YouTube, we got 3 people. Instagram, we got 7. Facebook, I think there was like a handful. But like, listen, brother. Like, you're building assets. These things live forever. You're building assets that once people start liking your stuff, they're going to go backwards and watch all your stuff. So you got to get rid of the judgment and the criticism that just holds you back and prevents you from helping more people. Does that make sense? So check that out. Go to it. I think we have a price discount, or no, a pricing credit towards the tuition. And I can't tell you when that's going to expire. It says it on the page. And the reason I'm saying that, guys, is if we end up using this, like on YouTube, this video that I'm shooting right now, I don't make up something that we got to go back and change. So this can live evergreen and give me amazing freedom. Okay, so that's how you start creating the stampede. Okay. You can layer it first 10, first 20, first 15, first 3, first 7, first 10. Like, you got small audience, first 2, first 5, right? We talked about a pricing discount, right? Which was, this is the price that expires at 5 p.m. today. This is the price that expires at noon tomorrow. If you call us next Wednesday, all these bonuses are gone, and we're back up to 35,000, not 25,000 or 27,000. Okay. And all you got to do today is put down a deposit of 2K, 5K, whatever that might be. And that's how you layer that. Okay. Now, the objections. I don't solve objections. I just educate people on a different way of thinking about each thing. And I bring up all their objections on their behalf. This would be done. And I've already made my offer. That's why your offer is only 3 to 7 minutes long, because you want people who are buying to go. And then you want to go through a couple questions that the room will have, but you are using your clicker to go through the questions. I'm trying to think of like when I allow the audience to ask questions versus when I don't. If there's a pressing question in the audience, like it's one of my platinum guys, I'll take it. If it's somebody I like in the front row that's like, Ed, I'm like, okay, wait, I can't really answer questions right now, but you got a quick one or what? And if it's somebody I like and I don't want to shut them down because it's kind of my personality, like my personality would be like, really, hey, real quick, I'm going to be back. Actually, it's got to feed the audience. So if they're like, well, do me a favor, Susie, ask me at the back table in 1 minute. Okay. And that's how you handle the questions. I'm not standing there for 15 minutes. Okay. No MCs coming up. Nobody's stopping the flow. Okay. So I'm going to go to that. I'm going to go, people are going to worry about this. People are going to worry about this. People are worried about this. If it's anything but it's not that, I'm going to be at the back table with Candy, filling out forms and helping people get enrolled. Okay. You with me? Great. Here's where we're at right now. The time is 4:40. The time is 4:40. We are going to be jumping on the bus, because I've already addressed that it's one of the bonuses. They're going to get it tonight. At 5:30. If you are a platinum member, okay? If you're not, I still love you. I'm just letting you know that's where I'm going to be, and that's where all the platinum members are going. So if you're a platinum member, you can go ahead and stand up and get your stuff and get rolling. If you're re-upping, hand in your form to Candy. If you're, but if you are considering being a platinum member and you're like 90% there, you're 85%, like you have a couple questions, I'm going to be at the back table for the next 30 minutes. Okay. So I will be answering back right there. We start at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Go ahead and love you guys. I'm going to be back there, and boom, I am off the stage and nobody is stopping the flow of my traffic, right? Music is going, but it's at a medium level so that people can hear me answering questions. Okay? And so that's where I'm going to go to the back of the room, and my audio with low upbeat music is going to be going, but the audience can hear me answering questions. Like, hey, John, I'm going to walk right out. Hey, John, yeah. Oh, you're in, man? Good. Like, this is how we do it. You're in? I knew you'd be in, brother. Okay, cool. The one other thing that we will do is, and I should have done this, right? When you're in and you hand it in, we've arranged another special bonus, and we could have had this right there. I should have said this. This is good. I got to write this down. This is all such good stuff, guys. So what I would have, one of the bonuses is a photo, a celebratory photo is going to be taken either right now with the leader. I'm going to be enrolling people. The leader's out there, right there, taking pictures, getting their plaque, getting their whatever, getting their bonus, taking their package. We need something that's sticky and that makes them feel like they're above everybody else. We're not making people feel inadequate. We just want them to feel something gracious and amazing, okay? Now, one thing you could do there is if you do have a celebrity there, like a real celebrity, the celebrity doesn't take photos with everybody. The celebrity only takes photos with platinum people. So there's one way to have it there too, where the photo booth's back there. You're going to get your enrollment in. You're going to get in line. You're going to take a picture with our celebrity. The other way to line that up is at the private VIP event, or you could have it right there. We're going to be taking photos with the celebrity. You're going to get in line. It's going to be amazing. You're going to use it with all your marketing because that's how I sell it, by the way. Lots to cover, guys. Lots to cover. This is advanced level stuff, 3.0 stuff. Okay, I want to make sure I'm going to talk for another minute, and then I might be, if I have a question or two, I don't know why I can't take it. I'm able to see the comments coming in from YouTube. I'm just not able to see the questions coming in from anywhere else. So if you have a comment or question, feel free to put it in there, guys. I'll come back and address it. The last thing is, can you run the mastermind for you? Let me go through that. Actually, that's a really good question. I don't have a mastermind yet, but I want one. This sounds awesome, but I'm not sure where to start. Okay, got it. Can you sell? Yeah, I can do that too. Okay, cool. Can I sell it for you? Let me cover all these topics, right? Number one is this. If you don't have a mastermind yet, if you don't have a message yet, if you don't have your offer yet, go sign up for the 2-day intensive. Okay? The reason being is because you're going to get some pre-work like we're doing here, and then you're going to have the opportunity to have me review it prior to our 2-day intensive. It's very important to understand. Your offer can always be made better, including mine, guys. No, there's no judgment there. It can always be made better. Your message can always be made better. Your market can always become more profitable. So you can make more money per client. It's all possible, okay? And so at our live event, whether I'm charging, when you go to that landing page, if I'm charging 10 grand, 7,500, or if you're lucky and it's less than that, and you're selling anything that's over $3,000 to $5,000 to $50,000, because it's one of the things I'm going to teach you how to do is take your offer, turn it into a $50,000 offer, even if you haven't sold it yet, so that you price anchor. Okay, you have to have a price anchoring. Like Tom Collins, you help 9-figure companies sell more and monetize their data. A 9-figure company spending $50,000 with you, they're going to have that money back within 3 days, brother. That's how you sell it. It's that simple, right? Mike's coming out to our event. Tom's coming out to our event. Lloyd's coming out to our event. And your price is always a reflection of the value, not your competitors, not the cost, not what the rest of the market's doing, not what you feel is fair. Because what you feel is fair, I absolutely guarantee you, is probably less than what your value is worth. Like feeling is usually a beginning of, like, we want to feel like we're creating a triple win. I get that. What I'm addressing in the room is that most of you guys underprice and undervalue yourselves. That's why our offers are not as, like, it's a bunch of stuff without the core elements of the end result. And I bring this frame up when selling. Would you rather have one page that could 10x your business, or would you like 8 hours that you have to go through that I promise will 10x your business? Which one do you want? Busy best buyers want the one page. That's why they're willing to spend $50,000, $100,000 to get a faster result than somebody who just wants stuff. Oh, I want to be, I want 10 events, 100 people. Your other mastermind guy does 400 events a year. They have 16 calls a week. Oh, bro, I work with winners, right? In creating winners. Winners are busy doing stuff. If you want to just sit and consume stuff, I have 5 other people I can introduce you to. You can consume their shit all day long, but I'm trying to help you grow your business, and you consuming 8 hours of my content a week is not how we help you grow your business. You crafting a better offer and getting that offer in front of 100 ideal best buyers through a micro event that's how we grow your business. And I'm going to give you that action plan. Would you like that, or do you just want to hang out with? Because I've helped. I'll tell you 2 like backstories. I've helped guys where they just give so much stuff. I'm like, bro, none of our students are making any money because you're just inundating them with stuff. Like, sell against the stuff. Talk about the speed of execution and the freedom you're getting them, because you've simplified everything. Because anyone who's ever bought anything has gotten lost in stuff. Wouldn't you guys agree with that? That's why one of the cool things about running micro events is you could do a 1-hour micro event, charge $27, charge $97. Now you got a buyer who knows you, who likes you, who realizes you're credible, and they're ready to commit more with you, rather than just throwing them a bunch of stuff, right? So, guys, let me answer a couple of questions that just came in. Thanks for being on this long. It's been amazing. Hopefully you enjoyed this, right? I've enjoyed it. I obviously like teaching. One of the strategies I'm utilizing, just so you realize what I'm doing, is creating high value content on my YouTube and social channels, which I recommend you doing the same thing. The quantity of people that consume it is not nearly as important as the quality of the person who consumes it. Okay. So one of my mentors, Myron Golden, he's virtual. I love Myron. I would love to have Myron post. 90% of Myron's business comes off his YouTube channel. I'm jealous of that. I wish I had the ability of literally, I'm trying to pull up. I wish I had the ability of just posting one video and in 3 hours, there's 5,000 views. I don't have that influence yet, right? So if I compare myself to him on a daily basis, I'm guaranteed to fail. It's guaranteed to fail. And so I could either stay in guaranteed to fail land, or I could realize that I'm guaranteed to win by executing a plan that impacts and solves people's problems. And I don't know if it's going to be 5 people today or 50 people tomorrow, but my vision is that in someday we're going to have 5,000 within 5 hours, but we're just not there yet. And guess what? 99.9% of the population are not there yet. And what I found is the reason why people aren't promoting themselves and selling their stuff is because they're in that, like, man, I'm not there yet. Well, guess what, guys? You're never going to be there if you never get there. And if it's not working, if you're not working towards it, you can't let it work on you, and you can't get better, and you can't do those things, right? And so what I challenge you with is that we're going to stay in the world of, we are going to work on it till it works, because we have people that we want to help make things work for. Does that make sense? So we're not going to judge it where we're not at, and we're just going to work towards it. So a couple questions that came in. I'm not sure where to start. Go to the 2-day intensive. watch more of my videos, how to start your mastermind, and just, and get started. I always go back to like, well, name one client you've solved a problem for, or people that have hired you that you've solved a problem for, or people that you've had to solve the problem for, that there's other people that spend money to solve that problem, and just create whatever intellectual property that you created for them, do it for them. And then package it. Sell it for $27, $97, have a $5,000 offer, $50,000 offer, $25,000 offer, $100,000 offer. And you don't have to have it all figured out yet. You just got to get going. Okay. And then what you do is I have a training on this, is where you just ask yourself, like, well, who would buy that? And even if you're not ready to serve that person yet, it allows your brain to go to those places rather than stopping yourself from going to those places. Okay. It'll make 5,000 seem like nothing once you figure out who would pay 50,000 for the same thing. And just really quickly on that, like, if you don't know where to start and you have content about like, well, I'd like to do this, I think this is the right path. First of all, you got to invest in yourself. Second of all, you got to get started, right? Craft an offer, create your message, go solve a problem, period. And if you've gotten your ass kicked for the last 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, a lot of people have gotten their ass kicked for the last 2 3 years. But if you've helped people, just get going, helping more people, and charge for it. Number 2 is figure out what your critical limiting constraint is and get better at it. I don't really have a good message for my offer. We'll get better at the message. Okay, I have a good message. I don't have a good offer. Create a better offer. I'm not good at pitching it. We'll pitch to more people. The feedback always comes in when you're out there grinding away and working really, really hard. Okay, that's where it'll happen. Okay. I don't have a mastermind yet, but I want one. Start one. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be called a mastermind at first. It could be called your coaching club. It could be your private client group. It could be a virtual free course you give away. I don't care what you do, but you got to get moving. If you start giving away free stuff, you're going to have people that are going to ask you, how can I work with you? If it solves a problem, right? We have a framework I teach on that. Who's your most lucrative, whose problem can you solve that has the most amount of money, easiest to solve, most enjoyable to work with, happiest to pay, and there's a lot of them out there. That's who you solve the problem for. Can you just run my mastermind for me? I'll talk about that in a second. That's not really what I want to cover. Can you do the pitch for me? Yeah, we can do the pitch for you. Yep, whether it's virtual or in person. If you want, I highly recommend that you sign up for the 2-day intensive, because everything else will become better when you do that. Number 2 is if you sign up for that and then you end up hiring me to actually do the pitch for you, there might be ability to credit some of that towards that. So either way, you're winning on both sides. Okay. But what they will look like, guys, just so you know, that is there's a couple different ways. One is I could just be a wingman, come into your event and do the time collapsing keynote. I have another keynote I'm building out, designed to help create more winners. And I don't want to tell the title yet, because I just thought of it and it's so good. But then also to run your panel. Those are no brainers. Like if you're running live events, you're watching this, you're like, I don't know, should I hire Ed or not? Dude, hire me for the first one. Look at it as an investment and to see if there's no commissions on the initial side right now, as of right now. And then if you have a 15 to plus offer, you're going to make your money back. And I don't have a guarantee because there's too many things I can't control. But I mean, I can assure you on my reputation that if you don't get 10x your investment right away, something terribly went wrong, and that's not going to happen. It's a no-brainer. But I see, guys, I'm just letting you know this. Like one of the biggest flaws is they go hire the $150,000 guy, and I'm always just like, what are you doing? You're going to get somebody there to go watch Donald Trump. This is back when he was available. It has nothing to do with what you're doing, right? You're attracting looky-loos and people that are just excited about the celebrity. And we want to build an event around making you the celebrity and then making your platinum the celebrity. You're going to make a lot more money that way. Just letting you know. Number 3. Oh, yeah. So could I do the pitch for you? Yes. Ask the questions. We'll discuss it. Yeah. I explained in this video how that's done. The compensation arrangement, the fees on that, slightly different, but not much. And it's a triple win. You win, they win, I win, we all win. And then if it works, it'd be freaking amazing to have a couple of relationships like that. But you got to do that quick because we're aggressively making every mastermind and event aware of this opportunity, and the schedule is getting full. So I only want to work with 3 to 5 guys in that relationship. What else is coming in? This is a question that is the whole purpose. You don't want to come across as pushy and salesy. That is why you use first of all, it's why you got to learn how to speak and communicate your message, and how to use permission-based platform selling, virtual and in person. That's also why you need to understand the structure, and I'll teach you this, the 2 days intensive, even more in depth, of having MCs that set you up and wingmen that set you up. Those are 2 different roles, people. You don't have an MC could be a wingman, but it doesn't go as far as having somebody who's an expert, who's a published author, be your wing person, or someone that's positioned as a micro celebrity. Because even if you're just doing professional services locally, the wingman is your facilitator of an orchestrator of the event. They're the one that keeps the clock running. The person that sets you up to sell more has to be seen as an expert in the room that people go up to on breaks. Oh, hey, I got a question about this, or can you sign books? Because that anchor gets sent to you as well. Okay, that's very, very important. So I think that's it for now, guys. Hey, so if you like this, check out what we got at offerwingman.com/event mastery. We'd love to work with you one-on-one or one in a small group. If you want one-on-one stuff, we'd love to work with you there. If you if this is your lane, you're moving in this lane, make sure you just like, subscribe, comment, so that we keep in touch, because we'll be having more stuff coming out. I think my next video is going to be about handling objections, and I'll go through the best frameworks for time, money, identity, reputation, timing, and there's other things in there too. And like really elegantly solving their inadequacy issues that prevent them from buying multiple times before you pitch. You have to destroy all objections. All objections have to be destroyed 3 or 4 times before you ever pitch, in different ways, without them knowing that you're doing it. Okay? That's my cliffhanger. I'm Ed O'Keefe. Appreciate you. Have an amazing day, and I hope to see you soon.